This is the Dallas Cowboys Report. I am Tom Downey, and if you want not one but two Cowboys videos tomorrow, Monday, June 13th, show it by liking this video right now. If we get to 1,000 likes, which should be pretty easy to do, I'll put out two videos, one in the morning and one in the more afternoon evening. If you want it, like the video right now. Today's Cowboys Report is presented by Manscaped. They have the #1 men's grooming products on the internet. If you haven't already checked them out, remember, you can get 20% off and free shipping when you use promo code Cowboys at manscaped.com. We're going to begin today's show with some conversation around one Tony Pollard and what his role will be this year. The Cowboys so far at OTAs have utilized Pollard a bit more frequently as a wide receiver, namely in the slot. Pollard has been asked about this by many, including the Dallas Morning News, saying he is open to being used and playing more slot receiver, although I will make note this is not the first year we've heard we're going to put Pollard in the slot more, we're going to give him the ball more. And they did last year from a 2020 to 2021 perspective, but many of us still want more. Here's what Pollard had to say when asked about being utilized as a slot receiver. I'm open to anything, just being on the field, being able to make the most of my opportunities. If I have to line up in the slot a little more, whatever it takes, I am ready to do it. I definitely feel like any opportunity I'm given, I am going to do my best to make the most of it. The more I get, the more I can benefit the team. Now, part of the reason why Pollard got so much run at receiver, or more run at wide receiver, I should say, at OTAs, was injuries. Gallup banged up. James Washington banged up. Tolbert missed some time. Noah Brown missed some. They already gave Lamb a vet day. So the Cowboys were thin at receiver. But they will also be thin likely in week one. Gallup probably not going to play. Do we trust Tolbert, Washington to be a wide receiver 2 and or 3 immediately? I would argue that Pollard, however you rank him, is one of your 5 best playmakers, which means he should be out there on the field as much as humanly possible. McCarthy, head coach Mike McCarthy, also commented on the potential receiver role for Pollard. I think he has that respect as a perimeter player, McCarthy said. But if you break them down, as defenses have done and will continue to focus on, you look at Pollard's route tree. So we've got to be in tune with that. Are we just going to play him out there and run a few things, or is he going to be a legitimate receiver threat? I think that's an important part from McCarthy, because at his core, Tony Pollard is a running back. He is not a receiver. Now, you should and can use him as a receiving threat, but as a full-time slot, we have yet to see he actually has that skill set. We're going to come back to that part more in depth because I know the player comparisons are out there. I have a better one than what's been thrown out there. But do you want more of Tony Pollard in 2022? This is the pinned comment on today's video. I think I'll see a lot of yeses, but it's a democracy, so go ahead and vote. Y for yes, N for no. If the ad break comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there and type in that Y for yes or the N for no. I know the fun comp is use Pollard like Deebo Samuel. Tony Pollard, who I love, is not Deebo Samuel. That is an unrealistic and frankly inaccurate player comparison. Pollard is great. I love him. I want him to have more touches. When Tony Pollard can have 77 grabs for 1,400 yards or 1,400 yards, we can have that conversation. It is not fair to expect Pollard to suddenly be one of the best young receivers in the NFL. Even if it wasn't for the carry stuff Deebo had, he would have had an awesome year purely as a receiver. That's not what Pollard is. If you want to get the ball to Pollard more, which I do, a better player comparison is Alvin Kamara. That's a little bit more in line with what Pollard can do, and quite frankly, he wasn't that far behind Kamara outside of touchdowns in terms of the production. Far fewer carries, not that fewer yards. Receptions, only 8 fewer, and again, not that far behind in the yards. Now, maybe you can not give him that many carries. His efficiency probably drops a little bit this year, but he was explosive. Get the ball in his hands. He's not going to be Deebo. I'm sorry, but we have seen the Saints and in their prime use Kamara and Ingram together. Do the same thing with Zeke and Pollard this year. The Cowboys Report is presented by Manscaped. 20% off and free shipping on all of their products, including the brand new Platinum Package 4.0. All the individual items, if you buy them separately versus doing the Platinum Package, you save 52% and we'll give you an additional 20% off when you use promo code Cowboys at manscaped.com. Brings all that great stuff, the boxers, the travel case, the weed whacker, the lawnmower 4.0, the ball toner, ball conditioner, ball shampoo, the actual shampoo and conditioner, the body spray, the deodorant, all of that for $123.99 with free shipping at manscaped.com when you use promo code Cowboys. That link will be in the comment section and in the description. It is their best deal ever. If you haven't gotten going with it, now is the time. Perfect in time for Father's Day, by the way. Manscaped.com, promo code Cowboys. We're once again back on the Robert Quinn trade, which I find interesting. A couple weeks ago, Jason Lock-in-4 said that Quinn wants to be traded. That led him mailing to the Cowboys, and Mike Fisher has revisited that idea again today. I do think yesterday. I think there's a chance Quinn could be dealt, but I think it likely comes closer to the NFL trade deadline. I would not anticipate a Quinn trade happening in June or July because the Bears will contend. Then they'll be bad, and then they'll maybe move on from him at that point. Now, a lot of the points we're going to make are the same ones we made when we first did this video, which I know that a lot of you are subscribed, but I also have access to our analytics, and about 40% of you watch the show and are not subscribed. So don't miss out on any of our daily videos here at the Cowboys Report. If you haven't already, hit that big red button and subscribe at youtube.com/CowboysTV. That way you don't miss out on our in-depth analysis of all the stuff going on around the Dallas Cowboys. All right, back to Quinn. Shorter version than the 12-minute, 13-minute video we did a couple weeks ago, which I'll go ahead and link in the comment section too, in the description, just so it's in there. Quinn is an impactful player. Of that, there is no doubt. 17 TFLs, 18.5 sacks this year. Better numbers than his injury-plagued 2020 and his Cowboy campaign back in 2019. Now, I have seen some confusion on the money owed to Robert Quinn. I've seen his cap hit presented as the money that would cost. It's not accurate. If traded, the Cowboys would owe Robert Quinn his base salary, any outstanding roster bonus / workout bonuses. In total, it's 3 years, $39.99 million. That is a fairly affordable contract for a player of his caliber. The issue for Dallas is, do you, A, want to spend that money? We know what the answer is there. And B, do you need to spend that money right now at edge rusher? You have Tank Lawrence. You drafted Sam Williams in the second round. You have other young guys or young-ish guys in Dorrance Armstrong, Dante Fowler, Terrell Basham, Chauncey Golston, and, of course, you're going to use Micah Parsons as at least a hybrid part-time edge rusher. So I think for me, the Robert Quinn conversation is a pass for now. But it is a for now. If the Cowboys are contenders this year and they're being held back by a lack of impact pass rush, I am down come trade deadline. He's going to go trade for Quinn. And then you can cut him if you need to because he's got no guaranteed money left after this year. But what would you guys do? Let me know in the comments. Would you trade for Robert Quinn? T for trade or P for pass? More stuff coming out of OTAs on Dalton Schultz, who was a loser in our OTA winner and loser video. I'm sure you guys watched. You're subscribed. Again, if you haven't, do it. It'll be in the comments too. Dalton Schultz has skipped the last week of Cowboys OTAs and could also skip minicamp, with Mike McCarthy calling this a business move. Schultz was present earlier at OTAs and then decided to say, I'm happy with where my contract talks are going. Here's what McCarthy had to say. Quote, business is business, and I'm in the business of winning football games. We all have contracts. We all have these types of situations that they come about. Timing obviously plays into these decisions and transactions. Now, as head coach, it takes you a few years to get used to it, but I think you have to learn to separate things in this world. Don't know if McCarthy is that big of a fan of Schultz holding out with that particular type of comment, but he is right. This is a business situation for both sides. We'll break down the Schultz side and the Cowboys side, but first, pick one for me. S for you are pro Dalton Schultz holding out, or C for you're on the Cowboys side in this back and forth. Here's the way I view both sides, and I get both sides. Schultz wants his fair market value. Contract talks probably aren't smooth given all of the history of the Cowboys contract negotiations, and there are not many tight ends behind him right now. The Cowboys, though, are already going to give Schultz almost $11 million on the tag. Minicamp is mandatory. You need to be there. It's a mandatory thing for your job. And is Schultz truly worth $14 million or more? I kind of think he's not, and that's also why I think the Cowboys agree and why Schultz wants to get it now. He wants to be a Cowboy. It's not holding out for a trade. He's holding out for a contract. But I don't know if he's going to get that from Dallas. Here's what else McCarthy had to say. I'm not worried about his commitment or what he's done. He's in great shape. If he was standing here, he would say this is the strongest he's been. Best shape of life season, folks. McCarthy continued. He's put on a tremendous amount of work into the offseason. I think it's clearly why I separated. It's business. It's business that he's tending to, and it's understood. In the end, I want Dalton Schultz at mandatory minicamp. I want him out there because it's mandatory. Skipping OTAs, it's fine. I'm not that worried about it. I understand why he wants to get paid. And again, I don't really want to pay him that fair market value. It seems like it's maybe the best example in recent memory of a good player getting great money. And that's not something I want to do at tight end in particular. I love Dalton Schultz. He's a really good football player for you. He's a better blocker than some of you give him credit for. And I want him at minicamp. And in the end, I think what should and will end up happening is Schultz shows up, plays well, and gets a big fat contract from somebody else that's well earned in next year's NFL offseason.